Welcome back to the channel, you guys. For those of you who don't know us, my name is Jackie.
It's T. Welcome back.
So if you have been following us on this little debacle that we've been dealing with our tenant, in our last video, we explained how our tenant destroyed our property. We highly suggest you go watch that video so you will be up to speed on what is happening now.
So I wanted to add something from the previous video that I did not mention. It's about another fault. So when we were on the porch leaving, she says, "Hey, one more thing. I forgot to tell you a letter came here for you." Oh, okay. You go get it for me? Cool. She goes in and she comes out and she's like, "It's open only because it says Section 8 on it. So I didn't know, who it was for because it does have your name on it, but they sent two letters. So they may have just sent, you a letter and me a letter, but I opened it, but it ain't no big deal because it's just the same thing."
Like the same thing. And I'm like, they probably sent it twice. So they sent it to the house. But yeah, I didn't mean to open it. Oh, you go. But you see, it's the same letter. I'm like, just open it up, not even paying attention to the name. Recertification, and they're saying you can go up on the rent. We were going to talk about that.
I'm like, are you serious? And when I opened that letter and I look at it, it's a letter dated with a suspense. Keep in mind, this letter she had at the beginning of the month. She held on to this letter, and it's time sensitive. She held on to this letter for 3 weeks. Didn't text me or anything. Nothing. She waited. That's just crazy. So I wanted to just add that in before we get into what we're going to further discuss, picking up from the previous video.
Okay, so we left off on the other video, and we were going to follow up once we head down to the Section 8 office. So when we got down there, we requested to speak to a supervisor. And of course, we couldn't speak to anybody. Everybody was conveniently busy when we got to the Section 8 office. However, we was able to speak to the landlord liaison. And from our previous experience with this person, she was completely not helpful at all. So we were not looking forward to speaking with this particular individual at all. But we signed in, and within, I think it was less than 30 seconds, she came out and said, you guys can come back. So we walked in, and as soon as we started to get into the story, you could see her face start changing. She told us that this does not shock me. Unfortunately, we hear this a lot from our landlords. And to us, that's kind of problematic. Number one, that's highly problematic. First of all, what are you guys doing as an organization to make sure that, number one, these are vetted people? I understand as a landlord that we have to vet them, but as a program criteria, there shouldn't be a vetting process either. So we go on to tell her of all the destruction. She tells us that she cannot help us because she's just there just in if we didn't receive a payment or if it was something to that nature. That's what her role is, just making sure that's coordinated. We would have to reach out to the tenant's case manager and her case manager's supervisor, who she deemed as a bulldog, and she is going to hop on it. After she gave us that information, we go on to further tell her, like, look, this is leading to violations. We're getting hit up by our HOA saying that she's not taking in the trash. She has destruction outside and all of this other stuff. And she was highly familiar with the area because she lives in the same area that we do. I think she lives about, I don't know, real close in the neighborhood. So then we told her that after we're going over this with the tenant and everything, she tells us, oh, y'all, I'm pregnant. And that lady's face and her reaction said it all. She said, excuse me? Well, I'm sorry. You should have used an aspirin. Like no type of remorse whatsoever. Like, I'm there because she went on to say that the reason why she's saying that to us is because she's trying to manipulate the situation, as she knows that something is going to come out of this. And if we say, oh, well, she's pregnant or she can't do that, it's going to be looked upon like, oh, we're kicking out a pregnant person and stuff like that. And that's going to play on the emotions of whoever is involved. But I could tell y'all right now, we ain't falling for that, and neither is housing. So that's when we knew we had to step into our next phase.
So we did exactly what she told us to do. We contacted the case manager and CC'd the supervisor on the email as well. Because you have to do an email or schedule an appointment with them. You have to book them. You can't just call her, especially, she said, with her case manager being a contractor. She said, she's contracted out to several different tenants on the program. So you definitely have to book her for certain. And so we drafted up the email, put the faults in there, along with, we even quoted like the statute and what was in our lease as well. And we also attached pictures so she can see the damages that were done. And at the end of the email, we also let her know that we will be sending out a letter to the tenant also, which is a 7-day to cure letter. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm thinking that the caseworkers are there to mitigate, resolve problems, check in with the tenant, make sure that they're good. But we're on day 4 and we haven't received a simple acknowledgement, single acknowledgement. Hey, email received, got it. Something. I haven't received anything back from them to let me know that they got it. So for you all that have experience with caseworkers, I want to particularly hear from landlords, and mainly I want to hear more from the tenants who's been on the program. What have the caseworkers done for you all? What do they do? That's something that I want to know. And if I'm wrong about what I stated about their responsibilities, just simply correct me in the email, in the comments, and let me know what exactly they're supposed to be doing. Because right now it seems like they don't do anything. It's more probably just collecting the check. So help out on that, please.
So to touch on the 7-day notice to cure, like T mentioned, this is a notice that landlords will send out to tenants if they have violated the lease. And this is a very important letter or notice because it is what is recognized in court. Many times when people violate the lease, what would happen is they will send a letter out to the tenant and they will say, hey, on this date, we did a walkthrough. You have XYZ number of days to rectify the issue. However, in the state of Florida, and this is all that we know because this is where we are, you have to send a 7-day notice to cure or without cure, depending on how severe the damages are. Now, a 7-day option to cure is the tenant has 7 days to rectify each of the violations that is listed on the document. And if they do not do it in the 7 days, then the lease is terminated. When it comes to a 7-day no cure option, they have no opportunity whatsoever to cure the violations that is listed in the document. Now, I know a question will be, well, why didn't we just send that letter instead of the with the cure option? The answer to that is because we want to make sure that in the event we have to go the route of eviction, there is no way that a judge will say, no, we cannot grant the eviction.
Because she's pregnant.
because she's pregnant.
Lean towards that.
And also, we don't want it to come down to the fact, did you guys give an opportunity to cure and rectify the issues at hand? So that's why we're taking this route. And that letter went out, what was it, yesterday? What day we are? October 3rd.
Went out. Yeah, yesterday. No, it went out the previous day, actually.
Oh, sorry.
next day.
It went out on October 1st, and we overnighted it on October 1st, and she received it October 2nd. So today is the 3rd, and this is when the countdown of the 7 days begin. And y'all, this is where everything is just going bananas.
Now, keep in mind, she already had a few days before the letter was sent. She already had those couple of days because we went over there on Friday. So she had the whole Friday, she had Saturday, she had Sunday. She had days already to fix the issues. So she got the letter, guys, and let me tell you, you can tell she's upset about it. It's like, okay, finally waking you up type thing, you know? So I don't even know where to start with her like messages.
Start with the first one.
Let's say she started and she said, okay, yes, these things are messed up, but I didn't do it. My kids did it. And it's not their fault that they're in this big old house. She said, I can't watch them if they going in the pantry. The house is big. And she said, when I tell them go upstairs, they upstairs. The house is big. And they destroy it. That's not my fault. That's the kids' fault. And that reminds me, like, when thinking back, how we mentioned in the last video too, when we were over there, she called her kids in there for us to talk to about the damages.
And
that reminds me of that, because it's like she's not taking accountability for herself nor her kids. I mean, that's just crazy. So with the grass being super high, I want to get into that. She responding with that, she said, I thought I was supposed to take care of the grass. So I said, we discussed the grass getting taken care of by the community at signing. Also, if you read section 1 of your lease, it specifically mentions the community care, and in parentheses it says lawn. Everything is very detailed. It's a very tight lease. I said it's in the welcome book, and we have conversations about it previously. I have the message. You asked about the lawn care. You said, do I have to open the gate? You had asked before, and then another day you had said, hey, a man knocked on my door for me to open the side gate to cut the backyard. So you were highly aware. Nowhere in the lease, or there was no indication at all. Nothing said that she was responsible for cutting the backyard. And before I even go into the next thing, I just want to add this also, because guys, lawn care is included. I pay for the internet, so internet is included. As stated in the last video, we furnished the house, brand new furniture and appliances, and gave her the full tissue welcome packet, all that.
Washer dryer.
Washer and dryer is included. I paid the water bill also. All she has to do is literally live and pay electricity. And they give her a portion for that electricity, and then with food, she gets food stamps. I mean, then she gets a check for the kids. Like, it's so much that she gets. It's crazy. So the next thing I want to bring up is, she said, okay, the microwave. She said, you told me at signing that the microwave was glued. Have y'all ever even seen a microwave glued? I've never seen it. I mean, I think if somebody glue it, you probably gonna see glue like on it sticking off. It's gonna be some portion of the glue. But let's say that was the case for somehow in a brand new house. Let's say that was the case. Wouldn't you put that down on your walkthrough sheet?
The checklist.
She didn't send the checklist. And it's crazy because I followed up with her twice about the checklist. Even at signing, I said, make sure you do this checklist. I said, this is really more for your protection type thing, but I'm literally telling you to protect yourself. do this in the event of something. And no, the house is perfect. They done checked it off already, you know, with the inspection. With Section 8 too. Oh nah, I love the house. It's perfect. I don't see nothing wrong. Oh my God, this is the dream house. She even like labeled it in her phone like it's the dream house. So I'm like, okay, it's all right. She didn't send it, but now all of a sudden that comes up as an issue. Another thing that I wanna touch on is she then goes and says, "It's not me. The problem is this community and these neighbors. I don't feel comfortable over here." So I said, after all these months, you know, now you're uncomfortable over here all of a sudden, you know. My first thought, I already knew she was gonna try to do something like this, you know, where try to point the finger at me, try to flip it. So I said, if you don't feel comfortable over here, you don't feel that you can be at, you know, peace in this community, I can get you out of the lease. You don't have to live over here. Then she responded with, I feel uncomfortable after hearing about all these things, so I simply referred back to my original text. If you don't feel comfortable over here, would you like to leave? Let me know. That's what I say, let me know. And she refused to, like, look at that. She didn't respond to that at all. And then like I said, we're pointing the finger. She then said, there's a problem with the wall. Are you going to fix this? I said, when did you find out an issue that happened with the wall? She said, I had just found out an issue that happened on the wall created by you. You know, there wasn't no awareness about it until I came over there and did the walkthrough when I noticed it and said, what happened here? When is the last time you changed the filters? When did you do this? When did you do that? And I don't even know if we brought up the filters in the last video, but she said, okay, my mom was supposed to be coming over here to change the filters. I didn't know that she wasn't changing it, but now in the text message, when I asked her what happened with the filters, she said, she said
the family member.
Oh yeah, the family member. One of the family members was supposed to be changing it. The family member don't live in the house. It's just you and your kids. The mom don't live in the house. I mean, it just constant excuses. When I tell you, and it just kept going on and on and on and on. And even when, you know, she brought up the furniture thing, she said, I mean, I appreciate you giving me like all this brand new furniture, but I had my own stuff. I had all brand new stuff.
Y'all, she's lying.
Keep in mind, that was, the house it had the same stuff in there except destroyed, and nothing else was in there. Even when she showed up with the moving truck that day, she had the smallest U-Haul I ever seen. I didn't even know they made U-Hauls that size.
That was a pretty small U-Haul.
I mean, I've been to U-Haul plenty of times, but I've never seen one that size. That was the smallest one I've ever seen.
Cut in half, and she didn't have anything. And she didn't have anything because she told us she didn't have anything, T.
Yeah. And then we talk about the carpet. She says, so with the carpet, since it's destroyed, can I rip it up and put down dark carpet? This house is painted all light colors in the inside. I mean, the kitchen is all white. The rooms are all, they're kind of like a beige color, so you can kind of say it's white. Everything is light in the house. And now you talking about getting carpet up and putting down dark carpet for what? For you to make dirt and destroy that and think it's going to be covered because it's in dark? I said, no, the carpet can be professionally cleaned, or it can be installed by a carpenter. You have to get it done, you know, professionally, and send me the information about it. So, I mean, this is just,
it's a mess.
It's just crazy. I mean, those are just some of the text messages. It was just like kind of coming like personal shots. You could tell she was taking it very personal. She don't understand what business is. It's so like, I was like, you know what, it got to the point, I'm like, I'm about to shut my phone off. It's like 11. I'm not going to keep, you know, reading it because she's not taking accountability for anything and just keep pointing the finger. And she's only pointing the finger because she got that letter, so she's upset. And it could be possible that maybe her Section 8...
Section 8. I think Section 8 reached out to her.
Might have reached out to her.
So from the mail tampering to the lack of accountability, she's bringing us through the ringer. And this is where we're at right now. We have 6 days remaining on the 7-day notice to cure. After she provides proof that the repairs have been made, then we would go to the next step. However, if she does not provide proof that she has made the repairs, then she is forcing our hand to go down another route. And that will be the termination of the lease, which could lead up to an eviction if she decides she doesn't want to leave in said number of days. So we're definitely going to keep you guys posted on this. I guess we can call it saga because that's exactly what it is. And we will keep you updated as much as possible. And also, from T and I, we definitely want to thank everyone in the comments who have shared this story, who has commented on this situation. We see you. We respond to everybody. We really like the engagement, and keep it coming. And with that, we will see y'all in the next video.